everyone, this is Melanie from Melanie B's Creative Studio, and today I have Masterpiece by Numbers, an order that I placed. This is actually the second order I've placed. I did not do a review on the first order, but I got this one, and I'm hoping that the first three that I ordered are good since I hadn't even tried them yet. I did go ahead and dry them out, the first three, and have them ready and prepped, but I saw this one particular painting and I had to get it. So they have a buy two, get one free deal. And of course, I can't just buy one for $25 and not buy another one and get three. It's like against my nature, which just means I spend more money than I should. But I'm gonna show you the three that I got, and we're gonna talk about one of these in particular. Let me open this up. This is how it came packaged. This is from Florida in the United States. So I got it in less than 5 days, I think, or about 5 days. And so it's good, quick shipping. And so let's see how the quality holds up and how it's packaged. So the first thing we have is tips about, it's actually on letterhead, so it's nicely printed. Tips about how to paint my number, which is always handy, especially if you're a beginner. Okay, so now these are the ones that I ordered. Now I know they're gonna be a little difficult to see unless they've got some colored pictures in here, which I'm hoping they do. And yes, they do. So I'm gonna just show you the, sorry, crinkle, crinkle, rattle, rattle. I'm gonna show you the picture of the design like this. And that's one of them. And this is another one, which is it's a winter Christmas one. And we're gonna talk about the one that I went and ordered first, which you're gonna think I'm totally insane when I show you this design. But I do wanna talk about the canvases. So the canvases are on this linen canvas. They have a very smooth texture, so I will add some some clear gesso to that and give it a little tooth. But it's a really high quality canvas, you can tell. They also include, which is fabulous, a reference guide. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is some of the smallest details make the biggest difference. So this being my first impression, I love the fact that they gave me a very easy to read reference guide for each of my paintings. So I'm gonna set those aside. And I'm also gonna set the canvases aside that I'm not gonna show you. And we're gonna discuss this one, the Pirate Skull. So yes, I am a Pirates of the Caribbean fan, but that has nothing to do with this particular painting. I get paintings based on my feelings about them, which seems probably a little crazy, but if it just says something to me, then I get it. My son and I, when he was 19 and I was 39, went for our birthdays, because our birthdays were 3 days apart. His was on the 17th of May and mine's the 20th. And we went together and got our tattoos. And my son's tattoo was a Jolly Roger. And I got a dragonfly, which is really neither here nor there. But this is my son that passed away when he was 23 that I'm talking about. So when I saw, sorry you guys. When they introduced this painting at Masterpiece by Numbers a few months ago, maybe even not even a few months, but a couple months ago, I knew I had to have it. And I have no idea where I'll put it. Probably in like a memory wall, on a memory wall with him and his things. You know, I think that'd be so perfect. Now that I say it out loud, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do with it. But anyway, so that is why I got this one. Sorry, I didn't mean to get off track. Let's check the paints. And I'm gonna go in directly with the paint on the canvas without it being prepped or anything, and just see how nice the paints are, because that is gonna make or break, you know, this painting to me. If the paints aren't quality and they're too translucent, it's a waste of my time. And even though I've ordered 6 of these, I would be like, oh, I'm gonna sell them or something. Not this one, but some of the others. So let's test out the paint. And I didn't show you the actual image. This is the actual image. So I need to attach a picture of his tattoo and kind of show you. It's not exactly the same thing, but it is close enough to where I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So had to get it. They also give you brushes. These are red brushes. They're a little different. They are plastic handles, so nothing fancy there. They kind of look like your standard paint brushes. I'm probably not going to go into a lot of detail about those. Y'all know I have my favorite paint brushes, and I've talked about those in my tips and tricks video. If you have not seen my tips and tricks video, check it out, please, because it will save you a lot of time and money in the long run, and that's what it's all about. If you can't enjoy your hobby because you're going broke over it, it's not worth it. Or if you're having to do too much work to get what you want out of it, then it's no longer relaxing. You know, I do these paintings and my diamond paintings and my chalk tour, and now I sell pharmacy cosmetics because I need an outlet for the grief of losing a child. And his little girl, she was 3 at the time, she's now 10. She and I do this stuff together, and that kind of gives her an outlet too, which I think is a really positive thing. She's very artistic, and I want her to kind of continue to stay in that mode of thinking. So I'm gonna try some of these colors that are normally very translucent, and those are the ones we're gonna paint a little bit, and I'm just gonna see about the coverage. So let's go in with number 1, because it looks like it doesn't have a lot of white in it, and the ones that don't tend to have a lot of white tend to be very, very hard to cover. So number 1, I'm not adding any flow aid. I'm going straight into the paint pot, just as you would if you picked this up and decided you're gonna paint today. Now I am using one of my favorite brushes. I don't know if I mentioned this one in my tips and tricks video because I found it after the fact, but this one is a level 2 Princeton, let's see, spotter 3/0. And it's got a long natural brush tip, but it's got control. I don't know how it's got control, but it does. Okay, first impressions of this paint. I'm super excited because it is covering beautifully. Now I will be gessoing, because when I paint, if I can see the little white dips in my canvas, you know how you can paint and you'll get that texture? I don't want to see that. I want it to paint completely smoothly the first time without me having to go over it. So I'm definitely going to be gessoing this piece before I start painting it. But that number 1, that surprises me. It really did go on beautifully. Now I've got an old paper towel here. I'm just gonna wipe that off. All right, let's go in, and 2 is another one. 2 is another one. And we're gonna try to find a number 2. Very pretty. Okay, so this one is like most of the yellows that are golden yellows. It doesn't have smooth or perfect coverage on the first attempt. So it's gonna take a little bit. That's gonna take a white paint pen or a white Sharpie water-based marker first, and then I'll have to go over it. Unless when I gesso it, it makes it a lot more opaque, which it can do. So let's skip. I'm gonna do, it looks like most of the colors that I'm gonna have problems with are gonna be in this little container here. I don't think any of those look like, this one might have a problem, number 8. Because if it doesn't have a lot of white, it tends to have, you know, less opacity for some reason. So let's go with number 4, and that is another red, which reds are difficult. So if I test the red and the red is good, then I'm like, okay, we've got something really good on our hands here. Here's a number 4 right in here. And that one covered really well. It's not perfect. It's gonna take a little bit more right on the number 4. But I feel like I said, if this was gessoed and if I had my flow aid mixed in with my paints, it gives it a little different coverage, and I feel like it's worth looking into for that. So far, I'm really happy with this painting. Now let's go in with number 5. All right, now that one was pretty semi-opaque too. So far I've tried the colors that are typically semi-opaque to transparent, and this one is transparent. These two are semi-opaque. That one is opaque. So, you know, I'm gonna be doing some extra work. But before I'm not gonna fail this piece because it's definitely not a fail. I've had paintings where the paint was like water, like it didn't cover anything. It was just it wasn't quality at all. It didn't come fast shipping. You know, like this was here in my house in like 5 or 6 days, I think. So there's so many things about this I love, and I'm not gonna give them a fail for sure because the warm colors I tried are not completely opaque. They rarely are opaque. So that would not be fair if I did that. But I am gonna stop here because I really wanna gesso this piece. One thing I mentioned, I think in my tips and tricks video, or I may not have mentioned it, is that you can gesso with clear gesso even after you've painted a little bit. So if you are in the middle of a painting and you hear me say, prep your canvas, you should prep your canvas with clear gesso. It doesn't mean it's too late. It just means once you put that gesso on, don't panic. Step away from it so you don't see it because it is a little bit cloudy when you first put it on. And then after it dries, you're gonna see it's gonna be fabulous. And you can just paint right over it. And what you've already painted is still gonna be there. So it's not gonna mess up your painting. Okay, you guys, so I guess we'll give this a pass for sure. And I'm looking forward to kind of working on this one. I've got so many that I want to work on that I'm like, God, I don't know what to do. I've got 7 work in progresses right now because I just can't seem to stick with one and stay with it. I get a new one and I'm like, let me try some of this one. And so it's just a nightmare. It's an ADHD person's nightmare, which I am. So thank you guys as always for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and to make sure you hit the notification bell, and that will let you know that every time I upload a new video that there's one for you to see. And also, please go join my Melanie B's Creative Studio group on Facebook. That's where we can share our opinions on companies we've purchased from and diamond paintings you're working on and works in progress of paint by numbers, completed pieces, how you frame them. I mean, all of that, any of that stuff will be over there on that particular group. So be sure to join that because I'd love to have you there. It's a small group now, but I'm hoping to grow. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day, and thank you as always for watching.